Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. On the page headed 17th of May 2157, she wrote, "Today Tommy found a real book. It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. They turned the pages which were yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to. On a screen, you know. And then, when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had had when they read it the first time." Question 1. What did Margie write in her diary? Answer. Margie wrote in her diary that Tommy had found a real book on 17th of May 2157. Question 2. How old was the book Tommy found? Answer. The book was very old with yellow and crinkly pages, which indicated it had been around for a long time. Question 3. Why did Margie find the book funny? Answer. Margie found it funny because, unlike telebooks, the words in the book did not move and remained the same even when they turned back to the previous pages. Question 4. What does the phrase "the word stood still" mean? Answer. It means that the words in the book remained fixed on the page, unlike on a screen where words might change or move. Question 5. What is the significance of the date 17 May 2157 in Margie's diary? Answer. The date marks the day when Tommy found a real book, which was unusual in their futuristic world where books were digital and displayed on screens. Question 6. How does this passage reflect the difference between printed books and telebooks? Answer. The passage highlights that printed books were physical objects with fixed words, whereas telebooks had moving text and could store millions of books digitally. Question 7. What literary device is used in the phrase "awfully funny"? Answer. The phrase uses oxymoron as "awfully," which often means bad, and "funny," which means humorous, are contrasting words placed together. "Gee," said Tommy, "what a waste. When you're through with the book, you just throw it away, I guess. Our television screen must have had 1,000,000 books on it and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away." "Same with mine," said Margie. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. She said, "Where did you find it?" "In my house." He pointed without looking because he was busy reading. "In the attic." "What's it about?" "School." Question 1. Why did Tommy call the printed book a waste? Answer. Tommy thought printed books were a waste because once you read them, you couldn't change the content, unlike telebooks, which could store millions of books on a single screen. Question 2. How did Margie's experience with telebooks compare to Tommy's? Answer. Margie had seen fewer telebooks than Tommy because she was younger, 11 years old, while Tommy was 13 years old and had more exposure to digital books. Question 3. Where did Tommy find the book? Answer. Tommy found the book in the attic of his house. Question 4. What was the book about? Answer. The book was about school, which surprised Margie because she didn't think there was much to write about school. Question 5. What does this passage reveal about the future education system? Answer. The passage suggests that in the future, printed books will be obsolete and all learning materials will be stored digitally on screens. It also implies that children will be less familiar with physical books. Question 6. What does the attic symbolize in this story? Answer. The attic symbolizes the past, storing forgotten objects like physical books. It serves as a bridge between generations, representing how past traditions are often hidden away but still hold value when rediscovered. Question 7. Identify the literary device. Our television screen must have had 1,000,000 books on it. Answer. Hyperbole, exaggeration for effect. Margie was scornful. School? What's there to write about school? I hate school. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. Question 1. Why was Margie scornful when she heard the book was about school? Answer. Margie was scornful because she thought school was boring and did not understand why anyone would write a book about it. She disliked school, especially her mechanical teacher. Question 2. Why did Margie hate school even more than before? Answer. Margie hated school even more because her mechanical teacher kept giving her too many tests in geography and she was performing worse and worse. Question 3. What did Margie's mother do when Margie struggled with geography? Answer. Margie's mother, noticing her poor performance, shook her head sorrowfully and called the county inspector to check the mechanical teacher. Question 4. What does this paragraph reveal about Margie's education system? Answer. This paragraph shows that Margie's education system was highly automated and strict, with a mechanical teacher that continuously tested students without considering their interest or understanding. It lacked human interaction and encouragement, making learning unpleasant for her. Question 5. Identify the literary device. She had been doing worse and worse. Answer. Repetition. The phrase worse and worse emphasizes her decline in performance. Question 6. Identify the literary device. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test. Answer. This is repetition, emphasizing how frequently she had to take tests. He was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple, then took the teacher apart. Margie had hoped he wouldn't know how to put it together again, but he knew how all right. And after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. That wasn't so bad. The part Margie hated most was the slot where she had to put homework and test papers. She always had to write them out in a punch code they made her learn when she was 6 years old, and the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. Question 1. Who was the round little man and why did he visit Margie's house? Answer. The round little man was the county inspector. He visited Margie's house to fix her mechanical teacher because it was giving her too many difficult geography tests. Question 2. What was Margie hoping for while the inspector worked on the teacher? Answer. Margie hoped that the inspector wouldn't be able to fix the teacher so that she would get a break from studying. Question 3. How did the inspector repair the mechanical teacher? Answer. The inspector took the teacher apart, adjusted the geography sector, and then put it back together within an hour, making it function properly again. Question 4. What did Margie dislike the most about her mechanical teacher? Answer. Margie hated the homework and test slot where she had to submit her assignments in a punch code. Question 5. What does the mention of punch code suggest about the education system in Margie's time? Answer. The mention of punch code suggests that education in Margie's time was highly technical and automated, requiring children to learn and use machine-readable codes instead of writing normally. Question 6. How was the mechanical teacher different from a human teacher? Answer. Unlike human teachers, the mechanical teacher was strict and emotionless, focused only on teaching and grading quickly, without understanding students' feelings or struggles. Question 7. Identify the literary device, large and black and ugly. Answer. Imagery. Descriptive words create a vivid image of the mechanical teacher. The inspector had smiled after he was finished and patted Margie's head. He said to her mother, "It's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. Those things happen sometimes. I've slowed it up to an average 10-year level. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory." And he patted Margie's head again. Margie was disappointed. She had been hoping they would take the teacher away altogether. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. So she said to Tommy, "Why would anyone write about school?" Question 1. What did the inspector say about Margie's performance? Answer. The inspector reassured Margie's mother that it was not Margie's fault that she was struggling. He explained that the geography sector was too fast, so he adjusted it to a 10-year-old level and found her overall progress satisfactory. Question 2. Why was Margie disappointed after the inspector fixed the mechanical teacher? Answer. Margie was disappointed because she had hoped that the mechanical teacher would be taken away for good, just like Tommy's teacher had been removed for nearly a month. Question 3. What does the phrase "geared a little too quick" mean? Answer. It means that the difficulty level of the geography lessons was set too high for Margie's age, making it hard for her to understand and perform well. Question 4. What had happened to Tommy's mechanical teacher? Answer. Tommy's mechanical teacher had been removed for nearly a month because the history sector had completely stopped working. Question 5. Why did Margie ask, why would anyone write about school? Answer. Margie found school boring and unpleasant, so she could not understand why someone would write a whole book about it. Tommy looked at her with very superior eyes. Because it's not our kind of school, stupid. This is the old kind of school that they had, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. He added loftily, pronouncing the word carefully, centuries ago. Margie was hurt. Well, I don't know what kind of school they had all that time ago. She read the book over his shoulder for a while, then said, anyway, they had a teacher. Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. It was a man. A man? How could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. Question 1. Why did Tommy look at Margie with very superior eyes? Answer. Tommy looked at Margie with superior eyes because he felt he knew more than her about the old type of schools and was trying to show off his knowledge. Question 2. Why was Margie hurt by Tommy's words? Answer. Margie was hurt because Tommy called her stupid, making her feel inferior for not knowing about old schools. Question 3. What kind of schools did Tommy refer to as the old kind? Answer. Tommy referred to traditional schools from hundreds of years ago, where children learned together in a building with human teachers instead of mechanical ones. Question 4. Why was Margie surprised that the old schools had human teachers? Answer. Margie was surprised because in her time teachers were mechanical, and the idea of a man being a teacher seemed unusual and outdated to her. Question 5. How did Tommy describe the role of a human teacher in the olden days? Answer. Tommy explained that a human teacher used to teach students, assign homework, and ask questions, just like her mechanical teacher but in a different setting. Question 6. Find the literary device, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Answer. Hyperbole, exaggeration to emphasize how old the art schools were. A man isn't smart enough. Sure he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. He knows almost as much, I betcha. Margie wasn't prepared to dispute that. She said, I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me. Tommy screamed with laughter. You don't know much, Margie. The teachers didn't live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there. And all the kids learned the same thing? Sure, if they were the same age. Question 1. Why did Margie think a man wasn't smart enough to be a teacher? Answer. Margie was used to mechanical teachers, which were highly intelligent and precise. She found it hard to believe that a human could be as knowledgeable as a machine. Question 2. How did Tommy defend human teachers? Answer. Tommy argued that human teachers were smart enough and compared them to his father, who, according to him, knew almost as much as the mechanical teacher. Question 3. Why did Margie not want a human teacher in her house? Answer. Margie was uncomfortable with the idea of a strange man coming into her house to teach her because she was only familiar with virtual learning from a mechanical teacher at home. Question 4. Why did Tommy laugh at Margie? Answer. Tommy laughed because Margie did not know that in olden times, teachers did not live in students' homes. Instead, they taught in schools where all children went to learn. Question 5. What was different about the old schools compared to Margie's school? Answer. In old schools, children went to a school building instead of learning at home. a human teacher taught them. All children of the same age learned the same syllabus together. Unlike Margie's time, where lessons were customized by the mechanical teacher for each child. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. Just the same, they didn't do it that way then. If you don't like it, you don't have to read the book. I didn't say I didn't like it, Margie said quickly. She wanted to read about those funny schools. They weren't even half finished when Margie's mother called. Margie, school. Margie looked up. Not yet, Mama. Now, said Mrs. Jones, and it's probably time for Tommy too. Margie said to Tommy, can I read the book some more with you after school? Question 1. Why does Margie's mother call her for school? Answer. Margie's mother calls her because it is time for her daily lessons with the mechanical teacher, which always start at a fixed time. Question 2. What did Margie's mother believe about teaching? Answer. Margie's mother believed that a teacher should be adjusted to fit each child's learning needs and that every student should be taught differently based on their abilities. Question 3. How is teaching different in old schools compared to Margie's time? Answer. In old schools, all students of the same age were taught together using the same curriculum, while in Margie's time, the mechanical teacher customized lessons for each student individually. Question 4. Why did Tommy tell Margie that she didn't have to read the book? Answer. Tommy said this because Margie seemed critical of the old school system, so he suggested that she didn't have to read it if she didn't like it. Question 5. Why did Margie quickly say, I didn't like it? Answer. Margie said this quickly because she was actually curious about the old schools and wanted to continue reading about them. Question 6. How did Margie react when her mother called her for school? Answer. Margie was reluctant to go to school and said, not yet, Mama. She wanted to keep reading about the old schools. Question 7. What did Margie ask Tommy before leaving for school? Answer. Margie asked Tommy if she could continue reading the book with him after school because she was interested in learning more about traditional schools. Maybe, he said nonchalantly. He walked away, whistling, the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm. Margie went into the schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. It was always on at the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday, because her mother said little girls learned better if they learned at regular hours. The screen was lit up and it said, today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fractions. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot. Question 1. How did Tommy react when Margie asked to read the book after school? Answer. Tommy responded casually and indifferently, saying, maybe, and walked away whistling, showing that he wasn't overly excited but also wasn't refusing. Question 2. Where was Margie's schoolroom located? Answer. Margie's schoolroom was next to her bedroom, as she studied at home with a mechanical teacher instead of going to a school building. Question 3. Why was Margie's mechanical teacher always on at the same time every day? Answer. The mechanical teacher was set to function at a fixed time, daily except on weekends, because Margie's mother believed that regular study hours helped children learn better. Question 4. What lesson was Margie's mechanical teacher teaching that day? Answer. The mechanical teacher was teaching arithmetic, specifically the addition of proper fractions. Question 5. What did the screen instruct Margie to do? Answer. The screen displayed the lesson topic and instructed Margie to insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot for evaluation. Question 6. Why do you think Margie sighed before inserting her homework? Answer. She sighed because she disliked the mechanical teacher and found her school dull compared to the exciting old schools described in Tommy's book. Margie did so with a sigh. She was thinking about the old schools they had when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy. All the kids from the whole neighborhood came, laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together at the end of the day. They learned the same things so they could help one another with the homework and talk about it. And the teachers were people. The mechanical teacher was flashing on the screen. When we add fractions 1, 2, and 1, 4. Margie was thinking about how the kids must have loved it in the old days. She was thinking about the fun they had. Question 1. Why did Margie sigh while inserting her homework? Answer. Margie sighed because she was lost in thoughts about the old schools and felt bored and uninterested in her mechanical teacher's lessons. Question 2. What did Margie imagine about old schools? Answer. Margie imagined a time when children from the whole neighborhood went to school together, played in the schoolyard, sat in a classroom together, helped each other with homework, and had human teachers instead of machines. Question 3. What was the biggest difference between Margie's art school and the old schools? Answer. Old schools. Children studied together in a school building with human teachers and could interact and help each other. Margie's school. She studied alone at home with a mechanical teacher that customized lessons but lacked human connection. Question 4. How did Margie feel about the old schools? Answer. Margie felt nostalgic and fascinated by the idea of old schools and believed that children must have enjoyed learning much more back then. Question 5. Why do you think the story is titled The Fun They Had? Answer. The title reflects Margie's realization that children in the past had more fun learning together in a traditional school compared to her isolated learning experience with a mechanical teacher. Question 6. What was the mechanical teacher flashing on the screen? Answer. The mechanical teacher was displaying a math problem. When we add fractions 1, 2, and 1, 4,